7. Real-world proofs that Jesus Christ did exist. Not a myth, not just faith, but history. If Jesus never existed, why couldn't history erase him? Imagine a simple scenario. A man is born in a small, poor-occupied land. No army, no wealth, no political power. He writes no books, leaves behind no personal artifacts. He is executed like a criminal, publicly, shamefully, violently. By all historical logic, his story should disappear. And yet, something strange happens. His name does not vanish. It spreads. It crosses borders. It challenges the Roman Empire. And more than 2,000 years later, it is still spoken every single day. That man is Jesus of Nazareth. Today, some people say Jesus was just a fictional character. He was invented by the church. There is no real historical evidence. It sounds reasonable until you ask the question like a historian. If Jesus never existed, then why do non-Christian historians mention him? Why do hostile sources still acknowledge him? Why did people closest to his time choose death rather than deny him? This video does not ask you to believe in miracles. We are not talking about the resurrection yet. We are not discussing divinity. We are asking the most basic historical question possible. Did a man named Jesus actually live on this earth? And what you're about to hear may make you realize that question was answered a long time ago. Proof number 1. Flavius Josephus, a Jewish historian with no reason to defend Jesus. Let's begin with a source that was not friendly to Christianity. Flavius Josephus was a Jewish historian, born around 37 AD, living just one generation after Jesus, writing for Roman elites and authorities. Most importantly, Josephus was not a Christian. He had no religious motive to invent Jesus. In his work, Antiquities of the Jews, Josephus mentions Jesus twice, once referring to Jesus who was called the Christ, another time describing a man named Jesus who performed extraordinary deeds, was condemned to crucifixion by Pontius Pilate, and whose followers continued after his death. Many critics argue these passages were later altered by Christians. That's true, scholars are not naive. But here's what matters. Even the most skeptical scholars agree. There is an authentic core text. Josephus genuinely acknowledged Jesus' existence and his execution under Pilate. Remove all religious language and Josephus still confirms a historical man named Jesus lived and was executed. This is not the Bible. This is a Jewish historian writing for Rome. So the first challenge to skeptics is simple. If Jesus was a myth, why did an outside historian record him as a real person? Proof number 2, Tacitus, a Roman historian who despised Christianity. Now we move even further away from religion. Tacitus was one of Rome's greatest historians. Not a Christian, openly contemptuous of Christianity, calling it a dangerous superstition. In his work, Annals, Tacitus describes the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. To avoid blame, Emperor Nero accused Christians, tortured them brutally. Tacitus explains who Christians were, with one crucial sentence: Christus, from whom the name had its origin, suffered the extreme penalty during the reign of Tiberius at the hands of Pontius Pilate. Pause here. Tacitus confirms Jesus Christus existed. He was executed under Emperor Tiberius by Pontius Pilate. 4 precise historical details matching the Gospels. And remember, Tacitus had nothing to gain by writing this. He was not promoting Christianity. He was not defending Jesus. He wrote with open disdain. In history, hostile confirmation is powerful because enemies rarely validate falsehoods by accident. Proof number 3. Pliny the Younger, a Roman governor, asking how to punish those who worship Jesus. Pliny the Younger was a Roman governor in Asia Minor, a pragmatic administrator, uninterested in theology. Around 112 AD, he wrote to Emperor Trajan asking, "How should I deal with people who call themselves Christians?" In his letter, Pliny describes them. They met regularly, sang hymns to Christ as to a god, took moral vows, no theft, no adultery, no fraud. Notice something important. Pliny never asks, "Did Jesus exist?" He asks, "How do I punish people who worship Jesus?" that tells us Christianity was widespread, organized, and centered on a real historical figure. Once again, this is not testimony from believers. This is Roman administrative correspondence. Cliffhanger so far, we have not opened the Bible. We have not discussed miracles. We have not talked about resurrection. Only a Jewish historian, a Roman historian, a Roman governor, and they all confirmed Jesus lived. He was executed, and his movement could not be ignored. But this is only the beginning. In part 2, we go further: hostile Jewish texts, anti-Christian traditions, and the most dangerous question of all: if Jesus never existed, who invented him, and why did they die for it? Proof number 4, the Jewish Talmud, when opponents still admit existence. If you want a source that clearly does not support Christianity, look to the Jewish Talmud. The Talmud is a collection of Jewish debates and traditions compiled over centuries. And importantly, it does not honor Jesus. It strongly opposes Christianity. Yet it still mentions a figure called Yeshu, a form of Jesus' name. The Talmud records that Yeshu was executed. He was hung, a term used for crucifixion. He was accused of leading people astray. The Talmud does not defend Jesus, does not praise him, does not accept his divinity. But it does confirm a man named Jesus existed. He had public influence and he was executed. Historically, this is powerful evidence. Because when opponents don't deny existence, only meaning that speaks volumes. If Jesus were fictional, the easiest rebuttal would be, he never existed. But the Talmud never says that. Proof number 5, the explosive growth of Christianity. A movement that cannot come from nothing around 30 AD. Jesus is publicly executed, humiliated, killed in front of crowds. By ancient logic, dead leader, Esau's dead movement. But the opposite happens. Within decades, Christianity spreads across Judea, Syria, Asia Minor, Greece, and reaches Rome. No army, no weapons, no wealth, no political power. Only preaching and memory of a man. History asks a brutal question. What kind of fictional character inspires people to be imprisoned, tortured, and killed? You can invent philosophy, but you cannot invent a fictional central figure whom thousands of contemporaries treat as real. Proof number 6, the first witnesses. People die for beliefs, but not for what they know is false. Let's be clear. People die for false beliefs all the time. But early Christians were different. They didn't die for rumors. They died for what they claimed to know. The first disciples lived during Jesus' lifetime, knew whether he existed or not. If Jesus were invented, all it would take was one person to say, "We made it up." There is no historical record of that. Instead, arrests, beatings, imprisonment, executions, and still no denial of Jesus' existence. Mistaken belief is possible. Mistaken existence is not. Proof number 7. The historical gold standard: Jesus is better attested than many unquestioned figures. Many historical figures, Socrates, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, are known through secondary sources, written after death, copied over generations. Jesus fits that pattern. But with one difference: he has more independent sources, from supporters and enemies, written unusually close to his lifetime. Denying Jesus' existence would require denying much of ancient history. That's why among serious historians, the question, did Jesus exist, is largely closed. The real question is, who was he? Jesus, not just a historical figure, but a historical question. You can't ignore. Look at the full picture. Jewish historians confirm. Roman historians confirm. Roman officials confirm. Hostile Jewish texts confirm. A movement impossible without a real founder. Witnesses who never recanted. Historical standards fully met. Jesus was not a myth. He was not a pagan god. He was a real historical man. And that's why the debate continues. Because once existence is established, the next question becomes personal. After hearing these historical sources, do you still doubt Jesus existed? Why or why not? Which proof affected you most? Roman historians, Jewish texts, or the spread of Christianity? And the most important question: if Jesus truly lived, what do you think that means for the world and for you personally?